My childhood was really good. My parents were very loving and I had a very happy family environment. But I always felt a little bit insecure from when I was a child because my sister was very popular, she was very funny, still is, and I used to feel very inferior to her. I have felt devalued when I was going through certain problems with depression and panic attacks. I also became very, very insecure because I didn't feel like I was like everyone else, had trouble sleeping, all sorts of problems I was going through. And because of that, I didn't feel normal. And then when I met my boyfriend, I was very, very insecure, very jealous, and I would behave in ways that would show that I didn't respect myself very much. I was always chasing after him, very clingy, very needy, and I didn't feel good about the situation, but I didn't know how to feel better about myself. Because of the way I was, it used to cause a lot of arguments in my relationship. He couldn't take the argumentative side of me. I got quite violent with him as well. And it just affected my whole life in general, but also about the way I felt about myself. Feeling sort of jealous and insecure all the time is not a nice feeling at all, and then you end up comparing yourself to other people. So I was in a really bad place at the time. I always had hope that I would get past these feelings, but I really didn't know how to, and it really scared me, that the thought of being like that forever, like for the rest of my life. I didn't want to feel that way, but I did have a small glimmer of hope that maybe I could find help. What really helped me was the spiritual support that I received from the UCKG Help Centre. There I really opened up about my problems. I was allowed to, speak as much as I wanted to. I wasn't on a time limit, and I felt understood. And I also heard other people's stories about how they overcame their problems and how they, beat depression and insomnia and all sorts of problems that they had. And I was thinking, wow, if they can do it, then maybe there's hope for me. And that started to kind of, even just hearing other people's stories, that built up confidence in me, so that my life could change. And then, being able to open up to people and talk about the issues that I was going through, being understood, I was never judged. And then step by step, along with the spiritual support I received through the prayers as well, my life started to change. The panic attack stopped from the first day that I went. That was the last time I had a panic attack. The depression took a bit longer, but that night, the first night I went, that night I was able to sleep well for the first time in years, and that was a huge, huge thing for me, because when people don't sleep, it's a horrible thing. And then the depression within a few months left, but along with that, I started to be confident about myself. All of a sudden, I started to find that I was confident to speak to people. I wasn't insecure anymore. I started to love myself. I started to actually think I could be somebody. And that was a huge thing for me, because I really never expected anything much of myself. Today, I'm really happy. I have the same guy that I used to give so many problems to, I'm now happily married to. He stuck with me for some reason, but he's around. So we have a really happy marriage. I'm confident about myself now. Now I'm doing TV, something that I never thought I would be able to do, because I had trouble talking in front of people, even just a small group of people, and now I'm confident enough to be on TV. So that's the huge transformation that's taken place inside of me. What I would say to someone that's feeling like I did in the past is never lose hope, because you can overcome this problem, you can change inside, you can learn to value yourself and love yourself, and when you do reach that point, life is wonderful, but just don't give up.
Hello, a very good evening and welcome to Finding Answers. When people are desperate to solve a problem, desperate to find answers, they'll try anything. They'll even try things that they're not willing to share with anybody else that they've done, because they may be embarrassing. And the thing is, James, maybe you say, James, there are things I would never do to try to solve my problem, to try to get out of the pit that I may be in. But the truth is, you don't know unless you're there. And sometimes we talk to people who were so caught up in their problems that they did things that today they regret. They say, how could I have done that? But the thing is, at that moment, the person didn't know any better, didn't know what else to do. And you know, I'm saying this because the person who's here tonight, and we have a very interesting story here, because the person who's here tonight is linked to a presenter that usually is here in the show with me. I'll tell you in just a moment. But in the height of all the problems she was going through in her life, she tried almost anything. Whatever people would tell her, look, this will work, she would try it. Things that perhaps today when she talks about it, she perhaps feels not embarrassed, but maybe saying, how could I have done that? And maybe you are so caught up in your problems right now, you're so desperate to find a solution that you say, James, I also am willing to try anything, you name it. You know, if you were to tell me to jump, I'd say how high, because the thing is, I need an answer, I need a solution to this problem. And it's like superstitions. When people are superstitious about something, or when they do these little superstitious, I don't know what you call them, Michael, superstitious rituals.
Rituals, you can say rituals.
The superstitious rituals. You know, they do it because they believe that it's going to bring them luck, even though they may not want others to know. Although, for example, football players, when many of them, when they go on the pitch, they do the sign of the cross, or they kiss the grass. These are all superstitious rituals.
Some have things with socks. They always wear the same socks, or they do something like putting on the right boot first before the left. So they all have their superstitions before they go and play.
I read about this boxer who, before a fight, he wouldn't shower for a week before the fight. I don't know if that was superstition or to try to put the opponent off with the smell.
Probably.
All right? But the thing is, so people hold on to superstitions for a specific reason. They believe it's going to make things better. But you know, maybe in your despair to try to solve the problem that you were going through, you tried many things. Actually, you tried things that today you don't even want to remember. Today we have someone here in the studio who was sick, someone who had an alcohol addiction, and someone who is Michael's mom.
She's in the studio today.
She's in the studio. Your mom, Michael.
Yeah.
And maybe say, James, hold on a second. Michael's mom, the presenter, is here. What's the link? The thing is, that was she the one who brought you to the church?
No, I actually brought her. I invited her to the church, yeah.
So your wife, who came first? Your wife?
Myself and my wife.
You came first. And then your mom was full of problems, you brought her?
Yeah.
And today you're here?
Today we're here, yeah.
Because you were helped and now you're helping others doing this program here. But we're going to hear her story, because she doesn't fit the profile, or I would say she doesn't fit the stereotype of the person who is an alcoholic or who was an alcoholic. And when you look at her, certainly you would say, no, I don't believe this sweet lady who was an alcoholic. But you'll hear her story. And if you say, look, James, I'm desperately trying to find an answer right now. I just want to get out of these problems that I'm in. Then, if you've tried so many things, I'm not going to give you the number for you to call just yet, because I want you to hear what Julie, who's in the studio with us, is going to tell us. And if she tried all these crazy things to fix a problem and it didn't work, then certainly one phone call is nothing compared to these things that she has tried. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, I'll introduce Julie, who's in the studio with us tonight, and she will tell us what she did and didn't work to change her life, and then what she did and it did work. Don't go anywhere.
I felt devalued when I entered into my first relationship, where I was in a very abusive relationship. I faced so many injustice. I wasn't valued by my ex-husband. I was a battered wife, and I allow him to do things to me which, a woman should never have to go through. I didn't feel like a real woman that I was supposed to be feeling because of things that was being said to me, like who's going to want you, who's going to who's going to want someone like you, or go and put your face on. In other words, go and put your makeup on. So all these things, it affected me mentally, and because I was so mentally disturbed with these words, with his actions, with everything that he was doing, it affected my day-to-day life. I never actually thought I would ever get over that pain or that point in my life, because the pain was really deep. So much damages had been done in me, as I said, in my self-esteem, my self-respect, my confidence. There was too much there. There was too much. I actually didn't think that I would ever come out of this, or I would ever start to feel like a human being, like a person, like a woman again. I was invited to the church, and from then on, I started receiving the help that I really needed. It's women that actually knew what I was talking about. They know because they've been there themselves. They faced similar situation as what I was in, and they were able to help me. They were able to give me the solution, the answers. They were able to help me through their own experiences of how they overcame what they had to do. So yes, and also I had my own individual faith. Block yourself from all negative words. Do not allow it to get in. Look at yourself and look at yourself in the mirror. Look at someone. Say to yourself, no, I am beautiful. Because why? No one can see who I am inside. And it's very important for a woman to be able to value herself, because if we don't value ourselves, who is going to give us the value that we deserve? First, it starts with us. Start to value yourself, and when you do that, you will not allow anyone to make you feel undervalued. You will always look at yourself and know who you are and where you're going.
They say that home is where the heart is, a place that should be filled with joy, security, happiness, and memories. However, sometimes our own blood is the cause of most of our pain. Before you lose hope, try this. Every Thursday, come and pray for your family and receive the guidance and support that could help you all reconnect again. After all, no amount of success can compensate for a broken family.
Welcome back. I want to introduce to you Julie, who's here with me tonight. How are you, Julie?
I'm fine, thank
Okay.
you. Yes.
Julie, tell us some of the crazy things you did to try to solve the problems you had. Where did you go? What did you try to do?
Well, I went abroad to get help.
What, in a hospital?
No, I went to the West Indies. I was told that there was a lady there who could help me, so I went, spent 3 weeks. All she did was bathe me in alcohol.
Bathed you in alcohol?
In alcohol, pure alcohol. And when I went to the house was a shack. But it didn't occur to me that someone who can help me couldn't help herself. So that didn't occur to me.
So you heard there's this woman in the Caribbean that she can bathe you in alcohol and all your problems will go away.
She can help. She can help people with problems.
And you went there.
I went there.
And sometimes we say to people, look, come to the church around the corner from you, and people don't want to come. And you went all the way to the West Indies to see this woman in a shack who couldn't help you.
Yes.
What else did you do, Julie?
I went to another woman in Clapham, and she killed a chicken, and she squeezed the blood out of the
Are
chicken.
you serious? No, you're joking with me.
I'm not.
Are you serious, Julie?
I'm very serious. She squeezed the blood out of the chicken onto my head.
Julie, why did you do that?
I was desperate for help. I was desperate.
And did you believe that these things could help you?
Well, everyone says this person can. The moment someone says this person can help, I know someone who could help, I'll go for help.
That must have meant that you were really desperate.
I was desperate. I was desperate. I wanted to be happy, and I wasn't happy.
So at your moment of desperation, whenever people said, go here, go there, you would go?
Yes, and the thing is that sometimes we didn't have any money, but we'd find the money. We'd borrow the money, we'd find the money to...
You would have to pay these people?
Yes, thousands. Each time it was £1,000.
Really?
Each time.
So the chicken, the bathed in alcohol?
I once went to a man who... herbs. He boiled up some herbs. He came to my house and bathed me naked. Yes.
Julie, I don't know what to say. Because, I mean, when you say these things now, how do you feel? I mean, do you think, what was I thinking then?
I wasn't thinking then. I just needed help. I was desperate for help. So anything anyone said, I would have done. Within reason, of course. And the reasons were what I did.
And
because
actually,
I needed help.
You said within reason, but those things were not within reason. They were
in my mind.
In your mind, but they were unreasonable. I just want to ask Michael, your son, I don't know if the cameras can still get him, because we have, different angles here today. Michael, did you know your mum was doing all these things?
I actually went with her to some of those places. I remember taking time off school, going up to Birmingham on a coach, and sitting in a room. The living room was like a waiting room, lots of people sitting around, and this guy or someone would come in, like a receptionist or something like that, and say, next, come in, and didn't know what was happening there. But I just remember that day was quite boring.
And what in that day in Birmingham, what did you do, Julie?
I went there for months, every Wednesday. I'd take Wednesday off work.
You would go from London to Birmingham every Wednesday?
Yes.
For months, once a week?
Yes.
In the hope of finding help?
And it was a bunch of us ladies used to go. It was an elderly gentleman who used to boil herbs and give you to bath, give you to drink. You had to drink it like 3 times a day, that sort of stuff. None of these things worked.
Let's rewind now. What were the problems you had that you were so desperate to solve? How was your life?
Well, I had an alcohol problem, and that started when I was wrong about 19, seriously started. But my family were alcoholics, so, I didn't see anything wrong in drinking.
And you certainly, looking at you, you don't fit the profile of an alcoholic, because you're a lady, you look after yourself, but how bad was the alcohol problem?
Very bad. I used to drive drunk with my children in the car.
Really?
Yes. I did some crazy things, some really crazy things. Before I came to the church, I think it was in the April, it was a bank holiday for Easter, and Michael and his girlfriend had gone for the Easter bank holiday. It was a long weekend. And I was so drunk that night, on the Saturday night, I fell over and banged my eye. When I woke up the following morning, there was blood everywhere. The pillowcase was stuck to my face. And I didn't know what happened. I was so drunk.
So how often would you get drunk?
Every day.
Every day.
And I was working for an alcohol rehabilitation unit. They weren't allowed to drink.
Are you serious, Ms. Julie?
Very
Because
serious.
your story, I'm sorry, it's not that, when I say are you serious, not that I don't believe you, but your story just gets more and more unbelievable. You were, forgive me for my frankness, but you were a drunk who worked for an alcohol rehabilitation organization.
Yes.
They couldn't
I used to go to work drunk. I used to use strong mouthwash, spray, a lot of perfume to mask the smell of alcohol.
Trying to rehabilitate others, but you couldn't rehabilitate yourself. Okay, now I said earlier that I would only give you the number to call after you heard her story, because we're not judging you, Julie. I mean, you're here today, certainly not judging you, because your story is amazing, and we're going to hear about it in a second. But maybe at home, you that are watching me, you say, James, I have tried pretty much the same things, or even worse, or I've tried every trick in the book to try to solve my problems. So I can relate to Julie, and I'm desperate. You know, between going from London to Birmingham once a week for months, between traveling from here to the Caribbean to see someone in a shack, certainly picking up the phone and say, listen, help me, pray for me, give me some word of motivation. Certainly the phone call seems a lot more plausible, right? So if you want to speak to someone right now who's ready to speak to you, the number is 020-7686-6300. That's 020-7686-6300. So, Julie, you had an alcohol problem. How did that all start?
Like I was saying, my family, they were alcoholics. And I grew up with alcohol around the house, drinking almost every day. But it didn't start, drinking didn't start for me until I was about 19. I had friends who drank. And then I started smoking then as well. Then, as the years went by, I would drink occasionally when the family were around. Because when you're young, you don't tend to mix with the older generation. So sometimes I drank with them. But then, meeting friends who were drinking, I started drinking. And then I had a first relationship that broke up. Then the second relationship I had, the husband I married, he was an alcoholic. He wouldn't admit it, so he drank every day as well, and I used to try and keep up with him. Drink every day. He'd go to the pub every day, so at the weekends, or drinking would start on Friday evening, sometimes on Thursdays, and I'd take the children over to my parents, and we'd pub crawl on a Saturday evening.
Pub crawl means go from one pub to the other?
Yes. Driving, drunk.
Okay. So you started drinking to try to keep up with your then husband, and then it became a habit.
Seriously,
I imagine.
yes. When the marriage broke up, things started happening in my mind. Weird thoughts of being useless. See, no one wants you. You know, you're good for nothing, kind of stuff. And they got worse as the months went by, and I started drinking even more. Then I started having spiritual problems because we had split up by then.
When you say spiritual problems, what do you mean?
I used to feel something touching me in the night. First it started with pulling my legs. No one's in the room. And then as the months went by, it started coming and touching me, my body. And lying next to the bed, you could feel someone coming on, but there's no one there. So I used to let my children sleep with me in the room, just to get rid of this. But it didn't work. Used to have all the lights on, wouldn't take the lights off. That didn't work. And it just got worse and worse. And when they got older and they started sleeping in their own bedrooms, this thing used to have sex with me.
So you used to feel something having sex with you, even though you were alone in the bedroom. Were you awake at that point? Were you sleeping?
It was a weird feeling. I wasn't asleep, but I wasn't awake. It's the times when I would feel this sensation, and I'd try to. It would kind of hold me, restrict me, and I'm trying to shout, to say something, but the words wouldn't come out. And the restriction was there, I couldn't move. So it just got worse and worse, and as the months and years went by.
So how often would something like this happen?
It first started happening like twice or 3 times a month, and as time went by, it was happening almost every week. And by the time I was ready to come to the church, it was happening almost every night. And it was always around about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Did you ever tell anyone about what you were going through?
No one would believe me.
So no one would believe you said that, but why? Do you think that people would say that you were mad?
Crazy, yes.
Crazy.
Because it's not something you've heard anyone talk about.
And actually, perhaps there are people watching us now who think that you are crazy. That you are or that you were. No, there are people who are watching us now who, I tell you, they may be thinking that. There are others, however, that what you said now just, they stopped in their tracks and they said, hold on, that's what happens to me. And finally, it's like it struck a chord. They said, finally someone knows what I'm going through because she's been through that. And how horrific is it to go through something like that?
At the time, I wasn't angry because I didn't know what was going on. I just wanted to find a solution to what was going on because I couldn't, it didn't occur to me to talk about it to anyone because it didn't seem right, it didn't seem plausible. How could you say to someone, there's no one in the bed, there's no one in the room, but someone's there with me and I could feel all these things, you know? So I never spoke to anyone about it.
Okay, I want to ask Michael, if, Michael, did you have any idea of what your mom was going through?
In the beginning, no. But as time went by and I was growing up and seeing Mum taking me and my gran, sometimes my younger brother, to go to these places, then she would explain what was going on. So then I kind of had an idea, look, there's something wrong, but it was like Mum would do her thing and I would just be there waiting. Didn't have any idea that she would be spending lots of money to try to find a solution. But you know, I was thinking if she's looking for help.
Did you ever see your mom drunk?
Did I not see her drunk? That's what.
Did you not?
There were, you know, growing up, I remember weekends, as she said, she'd ship us to our grandparents. We wouldn't see her till Sunday evening. Summer holidays, it was the same thing. I remember I had to learn to drive a car at about 13 or 14 years old, and I would have to drive her home using the back roads from my grand's house to our house, the back road, just in case we got caught. So I had to learn to drive at that young age, just so she wouldn't drive.
Because she was drunk?
Because she was drunk, yeah.
Okay. Now, Julie, when you went to these places, you had all these spiritual problems, and you went to these places and you said, look, this is what I feel this thing at night, you know, having sex with me or attacking me or whatever. What did these people tell you?
I didn't talk about that part of it.
What did you talk about?
I was talking about the way I was feeling, how my life wasn't moving forward. No matter what I tried to do, things would seem to go right, but at the last moment, everything would go wrong. And I talk about the bad luck that I had. I talk about the way I was feeling. I talk about the thoughts I used to have. And they said, I can help you, I can help you. Every one of them said, I can help you. But none of them could help. And things just seemed to get worse.
Right.
I even went to one lady who was known by the family, and she sent me to the cemetery. I had to go and find a grave that someone had just been buried.
Miss Julie,
I tried everything to get help.
This sounds like a movie. It's like we're watching a horror movie. You're describing a horror movie. You did all these things.
Yes, I went to the cemetery in Hackney. She lived in Hackney. She told me where to go. So I went and...
during the day, during the night?
During the day, at midday, 12 o'clock. So I got to the grave, a new grave. I had to open the Bible at the 23rd Psalm and say the Psalm. Now, when I did that, suddenly there was a gust of wind. Then it started raining. But it rained only on me. It didn't rain anywhere else around me. It just rained on me.
We need to contact Hollywood to make a movie about this, because I'm not joking. I mean, the things that you tried to do, I mean, show how desperate you were for help, right?
I was desperate.
You were desperate. You were, you know, you would try anything. And you said everything you would try, it would get worse.
Yes. My life got worse after trying the next one. It just got worse.
You also had health problems, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, you're going to tell us about the health problems in just a moment. I'm going to show you a video of how superstitions, but just before that, did you tell people the things you were trying? Did you tell family members and friends that you were going to all these places, or you would hide that from them?
No, only my mum knew, because she knew how I was suffering. So when she heard of someone who could help, she would tell me and we'd go together. Yes.
So, you know, perhaps you're watching me now and you're doing the same thing. You are so desperate to find help. You do all these crazy things, but nobody knows. You hide it. It's like a superstition. Usually people try to hide why they believe in superstitions or different things that they try. But the fact of the matter is that usually these things never work. Not usually, they never work. So I want to show you this video on how superstition affects people. And after this, we're going to go into a break. When we come back from the break, we'll see what the people of London have to say about this. We'll be right back.
With superstitions running rife, here's a top 5 of superstitions many people believe. 5. Black cats. Since the Middle Ages, black cats have been an omen for bad luck. Stemming from a strong affiliation with witches, black cats are believed to bring misfortune to whomever they come in front of. 4. Knocking on wood. Touching, knocking, or even saying knock on wood or touch wood after making a hopeful statement is rooted in the idea that you are tempting fate. The ritual is performed, so good luck is not cancelled. The superstition stems from the ancient belief that spirits lived in trees, knocking them to call them for their protection. 3. Magpies. 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for a girl, 4 for a boy, and the rhyme continues. Considered a bird of bad omen as far back as the early 16th century. The superstition determines that the number of magpies you see can reveal whether you have bad luck or not. 2. Breaking mirrors. Breaking a mirror, according to superstitions, can bring you 7 years of bad luck. The superstition came about from another belief that mirrors apparently reflects your soul. 1. Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th has long been dubbed as Bad Luck Day. Both the number 13 and Friday both being considered omens. The origin of this is shrouded in mystery, but stem from the 19th century. The superstition runs so deep that the fear of the number 13 called triskaidekaphobia has caused for some airlines not to sell tickets for the 13th row or seat, some buildings not to have a 13th floor, and some streets not to have a number 13 house. People also shy away from taking on events or new things on this day for fear of ill fortune. The root of these ritualistic superstitions appears to be luck. Good or bad is based on a gamble, whether you believe or not. On the other hand, faith in God is based on promises that are fulfilled for those who believe. Luck is chance, but faith is certain. What do you believe?
Here's what the people in London had to say about superstitions.
This is a very tricky one because
Tonight we're talking about superstitions, whether it's from a black cat crossing your path or that ritual you do for a little bit of extra luck for your team. We're on the streets of London finding out what the people think and how superstitious they really are. Would you consider yourself a superstitious person?
maybe a little. Just a little bit, I think. Depends on the situation, I guess.
No, not at all. I don't believe in that at all. No. No.
I'm not really superstitious, but it depends what it is.
I may have things, for example, going under a ladder, but I actually think about it, but I don't. I go under the ladder. It doesn't stop me going, you know.
Yeah, I would. I would because I believe in that. So I think that's the kind of my life.
Yeah, sort of. Some things.
I don't really believe in superstitions. I just believe in luck and to be honest, I know someone upstairs is watching me, which is God.
What superstitions do you usually believe in?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know, like maybe before watching a football match, I guess. You know, I do some stuff, hopefully they win.
I don't walk under ladders. I don't, if a black cat crosses me, I think that something bad's going to happen. If you break a mirror, you can get 7 years bad luck.
Believe in more like Asian superstitious stuff. Yeah, maybe like feng shui sometimes, you know, I feel like moving things around, maybe changing my luck a bit, hopefully.
Why do you think superstition exists?
I don't know, probably in people in their background, what they have in the back life of their parents or religious, or could be anything. I'm not quite sure, to be honest with you.
Because obviously they've come from somewhere, haven't they? I don't know whether it's going back to the really, really olden days. And I don't know, maybe witches when they used to dance naked around the trees and around the fires, I don't know.
It's things that people believe, to be honest. It's a belief, you know, but to be honest with superstitions, I don't really believe in superstitions. I believe in luck.
I think it's just like the stories your parents tell you or your grandparents tell you, and it just lives on in your head throughout as you grow up, and then you tell your kids, and it just moves on and moves on.
I think people may have a sort of magical thinking sometimes, so it's fear, isn't it? It's you think, oh, that happened to that person because he went under the ladder, it might happen to me. So you avoid this type of situations. I think it's out of fear, really, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have here a very inspirational book in my hands. It's called Nothing to Lose. And we had the book launch of this book just a few days ago in the South Bank. It was an amazing, amazing day. And I want to give to you I want to give to you this book as a gift. I have one that I can give as a gift. And what I'd like you to do, I'd like you to send us an email and tell us in the email, what is it that faith can do for you? You that believe that faith works, that faith can change things. I want you to tell me what you believe that faith can do for you. So for example, maybe there was a time where you felt hopeless, you felt lost, but faith changed your life. Maybe faith hasn't changed your life yet, but you believe faith can. You believe that faith can open doors for you. And you want to tell me, how you believe faith can change your life, the life of your family. And we're going to choose one email at random, and we'll announce the winner here. Not on Friday now, because Friday we're going to have a recorded show because it's bank holiday, but on Tuesday. On Tuesday we'll be announcing the winner of this competition. So you that want to win this book, Nothing to Lose, which was just launched on Saturday, and we've already sold more than 16,000 of these books, 16,000. If you want to get your chance at winning this copy of this book, you can email us to help@findinganswers.tv. help@findinganswers.tv. The winning email will be receiving by post a copy of Nothing to Lose. Julie, you had nothing to lose, right? That's why you were trying all these things, even though you were trying in the wrong way.
I had nothing.
So how was your health, by the way? You had health problems as well. How was your health?
There were several things wrong. I used to have constant headaches. I had insomnia. I had DVT, which is deep vein thrombosis. And
I thought you said DVD. DVT, deep vein thrombosis.
Yeah, where the veins in my legs, they had all been blocked. They had collapsed. And the doctors said to me, after doing many tests at Guy's and St. Thomas's, I was told that if I had another problem with the leg, they'll have to amputate the leg. So that really did put me down. And I had fibroids, and there are many, many things that were so wrong when I came to the church.
And of course, you tried different treatments, different things.
Yes.
Was that helping, or?
No. I would go to my GP. I practically lived at the GP surgery because there was one thing or another that was happening. I'd feel a pain here, I'll go there. Whenever I go, the pain would disappear. She couldn't find anything wrong with me, and she'd send me for tests, blood tests, and they could never find anything wrong.
So I guess my next question would be money. How, in all these things you tried, the trip to the Caribbean, the different places you would go, the medication, how much money, if you were to put a number, how much money do you think you spent?
Oh, tens of thousands, because
Tens of thousands?
Yes, there were quite a few. In the Caribbean, I think it was just over £2,000 the one trip, and all the times going up to Birmingham, and the gentleman who gave me the herb bath naked, it was £1,000 for him. Oh, I forgot about the lady who used to walk on my back for £1,000.
She used to walk on your back for £1,000. My wife can do that for free.
It was always £1,000
to walk on your back.
Yes.
How many times did you do that?
The walking on the back? I think I did about 5 or 6 sessions and
So
stopped.
just there, £6,000.
No, it wasn't each. It was the whole.
Oh, the whole thing.
Yes, but
Okay.
you had to give the money up front. Yes. So they were unbelievable.
Right.
Unbelievable.
So your son brought you to the church,
Yes.
Michael. And actually, we're going to do something different tonight, because usually I do the prayer. Tonight, Michael's going to be doing the prayer, because you know he's experienced and he's lived through your story with you, and he saw your change, your transformation. So he'll be able to help those who are in a similar situation through the prayer as well. So he brought you to the church. How did that help you to recover?
Before I mention that, I'd like to mention that I went to other churches, and I went to a spiritualist church, and they used to tell me things about myself. And I took Michael and his girlfriend at the time, and they didn't like it. That was a different kind of church. I went to another church in Dulwich where I had to buy a ring from the pastor of the church, and I had to go every week. I went twice and never went back because nothing had changed. When I came to here, to this church, the same night I came, things changed that very night. I felt peace, and it's something I hadn't felt since I was about 5 years old. For as long as I can remember being alive, I never had peace. And the only word I could say that I felt that night was peace.
So you came to one service, you received the prayer, you took part of a service.
No one prayed for me. I just took part in the service. When I left, I felt as though someone had lifted a heavy coat off my shoulder. I felt light. I went home.
And that first night you had peace?
I had peace. I slept that first night without waking up all night, and all through the night, which I'd never done for about 14, 15 years.
Really?
Yeah.
So that for you was a sign that something could happen there, and that brought you back to the church?
I didn't want to go to work the following day. I wanted to come back to the church. I went to work and I said to my friend, I found a church. And this church, and he came the following Friday, and you know, I feel peace. But knowing that I felt that before, because the year before I went to the church and I was prayed for by a young pastor.
Who was that?
You.
Myself. I don't even remember that, but this was quite some time ago, right, Mr.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
And I felt great. I felt good, and I thought to myself, when this happened, when I came that night, I said to my friend, I said, but I know it's not going to stay. Anyway, at the end of the day, I went home, I had a shower. By 6:30, I wanted to be in the church. So by 6:30, I was in the church. I sat there waiting for the service. And I remembered the pastor was talking the first night, and I thought that Michael had told him about my life, which he hadn't. And on the second night, he was saying things that no one knew but me and God. So then I realized it wasn't Michael who had said anything about my life.
I just want to make a point there, because when you say that, some people might think that we start guessing things. It's not like that. Perhaps you've watched this program before and you felt the same. You felt like we knew your life. We don't know your life. But you know, the way that people suffer transcends the boundaries of countries and gender and culture, because suffering is the same everywhere. Just takes different shapes and forms. But so you felt like the pastor knew what was happening in your life.
Yes.
Tell me something, because we're running out of time, Julie. Your life changed completely.
Yes, completely.
What would you say changed in your life?
I came and I was given advice, and the advice that I was given, I took the advice and I practiced them. I put them into action, as the saying goes, and everything that I did, everything I heard, and everything that I did, my life started changing week after week. Something changed. I had back pains since I was 14 years old for 31 years, and that went. It suddenly went. And the anger I used to feel, I was very, very angry. I hated men.
Really?
Yes. And
actually,
all that hate went.
The people that know you now, they could not imagine something that's further from who you are now, because you do not look or sound like an angry person. What about the alcohol?
After a few weeks, I stopped drinking. I stopped drinking, and I can't stand the smell of alcohol now. Nothing, not even the one that you use when you go to the hospital, not even that. It makes me feel queasy.
So you stopped being an alcoholic because you were an alcoholic.
Yes, seriously alcoholic. Yes.
You were a serious alcoholic. You stopped that. Your health took a turn for the better.
Yes.
You recovered from the problems you had.
Yes.
You started sleeping well at night. The spiritual attack stopped.
Yes.
So actually, you know, maybe you're watching me now, and like the name of the book I was showing you, you've got nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. You say, listen, James, I want to change my life, and I've got nothing to lose. This phone call or this approach that I will take to see you guys or to talk to someone, I've got nothing to lose. I need help, and I want to try something now. So we're here to help you. Like we said, we have nothing to lose. And you know, from the things that you had tried, all those crazy things, coming to church that day seemed like a very normal thing to do. But that's what really changed your life, right?
Yes, it changed everything about my life. The angry person that I was, I'm no longer angry. I'm really happy inside. Before, when I used to smile, it was a forced smile. It was because I had to smile. Now, or since I became happy, when I smile, it is genuine. It's not a forced smile. So, and I'm always happy.
Yeah. You know, Julie, I've known your story for quite a few years. Like you said, that first day you came, I was the first pastor that was there. But today we gained a new insight into how much you struggled and the things you did because you were so desperate for answers. And it's really good to know that until today, God has been keeping you, and I'm sure that He's going to continue to do that. And I want to invite you right now for you to receive the prayer that Michael is going to make. I'll be here as well, but because he experienced this firsthand, he saw the change firsthand, I believe that his prayer can cause a positive impact in your life. So I'd like to ask you to prepare your glass with water. Let's talk to God.
Prepare now for the moment of prayer. If you would like us to make a prayer and include you in the Finding Answers prayer book, send your name and prayer request to prayer@findinganswers.tv.
Father, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, we join our faith together. And I pray for the viewers who can understand what has been said today, because they are going through the same thing. And maybe this person has been silent. They have been quiet. They believe that no one would believe them. But my God, as the viewers have heard the testimony of my own mother, I have seen and I'm a witness to what she went through. But we also are a witness to the blessings that have occurred in her life. So I pray for this person who may think that what they have gone through or are going through, it's a matter of bad luck. Maybe they believe something negative was put upon them. Maybe they believe that their suffering has come from you. My God, when this person will drink this glass of water, I know that water alone will not do anything. But through this prayer, if this person could not sleep well during the night, if there's any pain from the top of their head down to their feet, if there is any sickness in their body, if they feel a presence in their room when they're trying to sleep at night, this person has issues inside of them. So God, when they will drink this water, may you remove whatever's causing these problems. So in the name of Jesus Christ, I determine this water, the glass of water, the cup of water they hold in their hands, blessed. In the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, you may drink this water right now and be purified, be cleansed from all negativity in your life. So, you've seen the example from my mum tonight, all right? Nothing was staged. This is a true life story. I'm a witness of what happened in her life. If you are going through any of these things at all, listen, why not give the number a call on your screen? We have advisors who are ready to take your call and even pray for you right now at this moment. It was one service, or should I say a prayer, that helped this lady here, my mum. And I'm sure one prayer over the phone, God is the same, He'll be able to do the same in your life, all right? I believe if you are suffering in this way, anything that you can relate to, you found your answer tonight. So give us a call, all right? There'll be someone there to pray for you. Thank you for joining us. It's been a wonderful evening, and we'll see you tomorrow for another Finding Answers. God bless you.